Just when you think you're done, you actually have just one last step in this keyword research process. After this, I promise you can move forward with actually implementing your SEO campaign. Now that you have a good list of keywords with a decent search volume and good buyer intent, we need to make sure that we have a good chance of actually ranking for that keyword. And that's where looking into your keyword competition comes in. To do that, we need to check out our competition on the first page of Google. So our goal here is to have both good search volume and little to no competition. This means it's going to take you less work to outrank these sites. So from the beginning, if you do a search for your keyword and the first page returns several authoritative sites, now these are going to be sites like Wikipedia, Amazon, Yelp, other large sites, just go ahead and move on to the next keyword, scratch that one off your list. It's going to be very difficult for you to achieve those very top rankings. Let's take a look at an example of this. If I search for DSLR cameras, the first search after the paid ads is Best Buy, which is a huge company. Then there's Amazon, PH Photo and Video, which is another large company, Nikon, Walmart, again another Wikipedia, CNET, PC Mag. These are huge websites. These are very authoritative sites in the eyes of Google, so I might as well move on. But if I look for, let's say, hair mask recipes, for example, the very first search is Hub Pages. So anytime you see something like this where it's Hub Pages or one of those other article type sites, that is a good sign that this is going to be an easier keyword to rank for. So if you have these less authoritative pages, if you have sites that are hosted on WordPress or on Blogger, places like that, those are all good signs that you will be able to rank relatively easily for those keywords. But one thing to keep in mind is that Google ranks pages. They do not rank entire sites. So we need to look at the authority of that particular page and not the site as a whole. The exception to this is going to be large e-commerce sites. So these are going to be sites like Amazon, for example, because they are a huge brand, and to be honest, Google tends to favor them in the search results. So it's going to be very hard for you to outrank. But other sites like Wikipedia as well are going to be more favored in Google as well, even if they don't have all the correct SEO tactics in place that you and I need to use on our website. So if you're not seeing big sites or some of the less Google favored sites like Hub Pages or article sites, it can be hard to determine how competitive the sites are without doing a little bit more research. So to do this, we need to look at the top ranking websites, page rank, and page authority. Before we get into how to find a web page's page rank and page authority, let's talk about exactly what those terms mean. Starting with PageRank, this is a number that is assigned by Google, and it's based on a scale of 10. Now you may have heard some debate within the SEO community about how much weight PageRank really holds in search engine optimization these days, but I've found that this is still a good way to determine how easily you're going to be able to rank for specific keywords. So new sites will start out with a page rank of 0 and they will build their way up from there, although page rank changes very slowly. Many authoritative sites have a PR of 4 or 5 or even higher, but even a 4 and 5 are considered very good. One of the reasons I recommend you avoid keywords where the top rankings are held by sites like Amazon, Wikipedia, etc. is because they have a page rank of 8 and 9, and Google tends to favor those sites even if the specific web pages that they are listing in search results don't have other SEO elements in place that you and I may need to have. As I previously mentioned, Google definitely considers a site's brand, but it more so focuses on the individual page authority. This doesn't apply as much to the bigger sites that I just mentioned, but if you see other websites with an authoritative homepage, but that particular page that ranks does not have much authority by itself, that's okay, and that's still a good sign that you can outrank that particular page. Now, PageRank is a good indicator, but it doesn't get updated too often, and that's why it's good to look at page authority, which is updated more frequently. This is another indicator of how much authority the site has in the eyes of Google. PageRank is measured by Google, while page authority is measured by another tool that we'll look at next. When researching a site's page authority and PageRank, you're looking for low page authority and low PageRank, which is a sign that you can outrank the web page. If you're targeting medium or higher competition keywords, having a few home pages with a higher page authority or page rank is actually okay, as you'll still be able to achieve the top 10 rankings. Now, domain authority is something that I haven't mentioned yet, but it is worth taking into consideration. Now, domain authority is what I've hinted about so far, and as you can probably guess, domain authority refers to the entire website's authority in the eyes of Google. This is important to consider, but ultimately, page authority is definitely more important to consider because, as I mentioned, Google is going to rank those individual web pages and not the entire website. So let's take a look at how to find this information quickly. There are two free tools you can use to find a web page's page authority and page rank. The best two that I like to use are called Mozbar and SEO Quake, which are both browser extensions that you can install for free. Once you install the extension, if you don't see these little informational bars here below each search result, then just refresh the page or even just close and reopen your browser and they should appear. Now I'm going to look at the first few results, and here you can see the page rank on the SEO Quake bar, and right now this particular page has a page rank of 0. Looking down at the Amazon, the page rank for this page is a 6. That's rather high. The following one, a 3. Now I can go back and look at page authority as well. For the first search result, there's a 67, followed by a 62, and a 48. So let's talk about these numbers a little bit. I like to see low page ranks. These are typically 0, 1, 2, sometimes even a 3, are all good signs. Now for page authority, I typically don't want to target anything over about 40 or so. I can rank keywords with a higher page authority, but initially I'm looking for some quick wins, so I want to keep these numbers relatively low. You can also see the domain authority here in the Moz bar as well. So you can see I have an 88, a 97, an 86. So these are all very, very strong sites. You can see that most of them here I have a 0 for the page rank, which is good, but that's followed by a page rank of 6, 3, back down to 0, 0, another 6. But then when I go back up and I look at the page authority, even though this one has a page rank of 0, it does have a page authority of 67 and a domain authority of 88. That's pretty high. 67 is getting up there. That's not something I usually like to mess with, especially if I'm trying to target a quick win. Going down again, I have a 62 and a 97, a 48 and an 86, 59, 47, 85. So you can see this particular page is looking pretty competitive, and they have a lot of authoritative sites here with a high page rank, with high page authorities. So this is a keyword I'm probably going to want to scratch off my list and just move on. Now if I go back to my hair mask recipes example, I can see right off the bat I have a Hub Pages website ranking number 1. That is a good sign that I would be able to rank relatively quickly and easily for this keyword. Of course, assuming that this has good search volume, which I haven't double checked at this point. But I have a PR of 0 to start off with. For some reason this is not listing a page authority or domain authority, so this may be something going on with the bar, or it just may not have any page authority. It's hub pages. I also have a page rank of nothing here. I have a 1, a 3. So as you can see, this should be a relatively easy keyword to rank for. But I'm going to double check what's going on with this Moz bar here. I'm going to select another keyword, hair mask recipes to grow hair. Now here I have a PR3, but it has a page authority of 37. That's a good sign. I have a page, there's no page rank here and only a page authority of 1. I have a page authority of 15, 18, 1, 46, 37. So as you can see, these are all very low. So this is a good sign, assuming I've already checked the search volume and I'm happy with that. This is a good sign that the top rankings have both a lower page rank and a very low page authorities. So this is a keyword that I can expect to rank for relatively easily. The last piece of analyzing our keyword competition has to do with backlinks. Now, backlinks are the number of links from other websites that point back to the web page we want to rank. This is so important to look at because backlinks are one of Google's top criteria for deciding which web pages to rank. Google has to figure out which websites provide good, useful information for visitors. So how can they determine that without sitting down and reading every web page? Sites link to other sites or pages because they feel they can offer something of value to their readers. So in essence, the more links, the better. Now this has been abused by spammy SEOs, and Google is getting smart. They know that a website with a handful of really good quality links is better than a website that gets links from a bunch of spammy, low quality sites. This means it's important to see how many links your competitor has, where those links are coming from, and the quality of the websites that they're coming from. If something looks suspicious, you can probably outrank it with good quality backlinks, but you're going to want to use your best judgment here. So how do we go about finding out how many backlinks our competitors have? Although there are many tools you can use to help you find this information, there are a couple of free tools that will give you this information quickly. The first one is Mozbar that we already looked at. Right from the search page, you can see the number of links the web page has. So let's look at this DSLR camera search that I had done before. You can see on the very first search result here, there are almost 15,000 links pointing to this particular page. And the second one has over 8,000 links pointing to that particular page. The third result only has 26. The fourth one has 6,800, 13, 3,100. So you can see for the most part, the web pages that are ranking on the first page here have thousands of links pointing to them. So to see what's going on, I can click on the links, and this is going to open Moz's tool called Open Site Explorer. This is going to share the number of links that it has. Now you'll notice over here two things. One, it says that there are 7 root domains and there are 14,942 total links. That means that all of those 15,000 links are only coming from 7 different domains. That's not very diversified, but scrolling down you'll be able to see which of the pages are linking to this page. You can see here a spam score. You can also see the page authority and the domain authority of those external websites. So the more domains that are linking to a site, the better off that site is. And also, high page authority and high domain authority sites are good places for backlinks. So you can use this information to see how good or bad the links are that this particular web page has. So this will give you some information without registering for the pro version. Ahrefs is another good example to use. You can enter a URL here. Now this one is for my hair mask recipes example. Now you'll see right off the bat it says there are 6,600 backlinks and over 853 domains. But if you look up top, I have selected for the domain and any page within that site. So I want to look only at the exact URL because again, Google is only looking at that particular web page, not the entire site. So that takes it down to 20 backlinks with only 16 referring domains. So this is more realistic. This is going to give me a better idea of what I would need to do as far as backlinks are concerned to outrank this site. So if I go back to my hair mask recipes search in Google, I can see here the first one has 55 links, followed by 0 links, 3 links, 28 links, 0 links, 41 links. So you can see the number of links is relatively low. That tells me I have a good chance as well to outrank these web pages. If you decide to sign up for SEMrush, you will be able to access all of this information there as well. The SEO Quake extension you installed pulls the backlink information from SEMrush, so you can use this tool to get the same information as well. SEMrush also has a backlink comparison tool, so you can compare 2 competitor sites or even a competitor site against your own to see how you stand against competitors as far as backlinks are concerned. So that's a really neat feature. Taking the time to analyze your competition doesn't take too much time, but it is such an important step in analyzing the keywords you want to rank for. After doing research on your keyword competitors, you can feel confident that you are targeting keywords you can actually rank for. Congratulations! You are now a keyword research expert. You see, it's not that hard, is it? Don't get me wrong. Keyword research is time-consuming, and it definitely can be frustrating, but there is no better feeling than going into an SEO campaign with confidence because you've put forth the time to do proper keyword research. Now you know you can rank for these keywords, and soon you'll start seeing the results. It's time to start with on-page SEO, which includes analyzing your new competitors to see what they are and are not doing in terms of on-page optimization, so you know how you can outrank them. I hope you followed along with me and now have at least a handful of solid keywords you'll be moving forward with. Now it's time to get ranking. It's actually quite easy to determine just about how much each keyword is going to be worth to you based on how it ranks in search engines. If you rank a keyword on the first page of Google, that's great. But there is a big difference in value between a keyword ranked in position 8, 9, or 10 and the first or second spot. In fact, there's actually quite a large difference between the value of a keyword in position 1 versus position 2. So let's have a look at this breakdown. Now these numbers can fluctuate, and I've seen some people say position 1 will get you 36%, and I've seen others say position 1 will get you 50%. So this is kind of the middle ground, which is the guideline that I like to use. But position 1 will get you about 42% of the clicks, where a position 10 keyword ranking will only get you about 3%. So that is a big difference, especially when you're looking at your search volume, you're trying to determine where you can rank, what you think you can achieve. So this can help you take a look at just how many searches will you actually get if you only think that you can rank in position number 5, because there are some large authoritative sites that are higher than that, let's say. So this will give you a better idea of what you can actually do. So let me show you how you can calculate this yourself. First, you'll need to gather the estimated monthly search volume for the keyword you're targeting. So let's say you want to rank the website that sells photography light boxes that sell for $50 on average. Now, I'm just going to make up the numbers here as well as the keyword. I'm going to pretend that this is not a very competitive keyword, although I'm sure it is, to use as an example, so just don't hold me to these. First, we'll need the search volume. Let's say after I did my keyword research, I determined there is an estimated monthly search volume of 2,500 searches. As you can probably imagine, when a user does a Google search and is presented with the first 10 options, the likelihood the user will click on the search result dramatically decreases with each position, as we looked at. On my website, I have an SEO rank value calculator that can quickly do the math for you. So using those made-up numbers I gave you, let's say my search volume is 2,500 and I get $50 per sale. With a conversion rate of 2%, you can see that a position 1 will get me $1,053 per month with that keyword. However, position 2, my income will dramatically decrease down to about $300. I can go all the way down and I can see that my position 10 ranking would get me about $75. Somewhere in the middle, about $123. So you can see with this potential keyword, depending on where I rank on the first page, I could make anywhere from $75 to over $1,000 per month. That is a huge difference. So this is something you want to take into consideration when you're looking at how competitive a keyword is, how much search volume it has, and what you really think you can achieve, and how much money you need to make from these keywords each month. Before we actually jump in to how to conduct an SEO or search engine optimization audit, it's important that we take a minute to talk about what an SEO audit actually is. An SEO audit is a way to evaluate your website's performance in several key areas. The audit is typically done before you start search engine optimization work on a website so that you can track what work needs to be done and track the results. That way you're not just doing general tactics that everyone uses. You're actually doing the work that your website needs in order to rank higher, as every website is unique. As we'll get into in this course, a good SEO audit will look at several key areas of your website, including on-site optimization, off-site optimization, social metrics, a competition analysis, and even a promotional analysis. If these categories don't sound at all familiar to you just yet, don't worry. I'm going to cover each of these in detail so you will feel very comfortable with them all soon. They'll all make sense. I'm going to break them down so they're easy to understand and easy to implement. After the audit has been completed, you will know the website's strengths and weaknesses and where you should focus your efforts in order to increase the site's search engine rankings. It's like having a customized SEO roadmap to fix your site. So now that you know what an SEO audit is, let's talk about why you would want to conduct one in the first place. There are a few reasons why you may want to do one. First, you may have noticed a decrease in your traffic and you want to know why it's happening and what you can do to get your numbers back up. Second, you may have been studying your competition and you say they are all moving up in the search engine rankings and you want to stay ahead of them. An SEO audit will tell you how to do that. Third, you may have hired someone to do SEO work for you and you want to make sure they're doing or have done what they said they were going to do. And lastly, you may just want to increase your or your client's organic search rankings and you want to know where you should start. Whatever your reason is, the first place you should start is with an SEO audit. Jumping right into applying general SEO techniques without first evaluating your website's health is going to be a waste of your time if you really want to maximize your efforts. By first spending time on evaluating your website's issues, you'll be able to better address its individualized needs so it can rank higher and perform better for you. We just covered why you would want to conduct an SEO audit, but how often should you do one? As I previously mentioned, an SEO audit is typically done just before SEO work is started. However, you'll want to routinely perform an audit to make sure your website stays up to date, as over time, things in the search engine world will certainly change. I recommend you complete an SEO audit at least 2 to 3 times per year. This ensures that your website is still functioning highly in all of the key areas and is keeping up with the ever-changing search engine developments, as well as staying ahead of your competitors. Now, I'm sure you're wondering just how you can perform your own SEO audit, but there are actually 3 ways you can get an SEO audit done. The first is to do it yourself, and we'll cover exactly how to do that step by step in this course. The second is to use an SEO audit tool, and lastly, you can hire an expert to do it for you. Now, you'll notice I mentioned using an SEO audit tool. There are so many all-in-one tools available that you can use to do the job for you. And while that sounds nice, I recommend the audit be done manually if you are serious about fully understanding the health of your website. Now, don't get me wrong, there are certainly some great tools out there, and we will use some of them in this course that will give you a lot of good information, but it's important that you understand how to pull detailed information in each section yourself. And you also want to make sure that you cover the areas the tool misses out on. So through this course, we'll be using different tools to accomplish this. But don't worry, no technical skills are required. I'm going to make this easy for you, I promise. As you go through this course and start to learn about everything that goes into an SEO audit, you'll probably start to wonder just how long does it take to actually complete one? Well, the best answer I can give you is it depends. SEO audits can take anywhere from a few seconds to over 40 hours for large, complex websites. What? I know, let me explain. If you use a generalized SEO audit tool, your report will be furnished in under a minute. But if you're doing things correctly and manually performing the audit, it's likely going to take you several hours. You might even be looking at anywhere from 2 to 4 hours for a smaller, less complex website. And while I know that's probably not what you want to hear, believe me, this is time well spent. Doing this work is what's going to make your online business take off. This is going to help you rank your website and beat out the competition. There is so much valuable information to be obtained from this evaluation. So back to how long does it take? There are several factors that go into how long it takes. First, how large is the website? How many pages does it have? How much content is on each page? And you want to look at this because search engines look at individual website pages. They don't look at websites as a whole. How many factors will you be evaluating? And, of course, how efficiently do you work? How many times have you done an audit? Because every time that you do it, you'll get faster and faster because you'll know the tools, you'll know what to look for. In this course, we're going to be looking at more basic yet comprehensive SEO audits that take approximately 2 to 4 hours to complete. Now, one thing to note is if you have not been tracking your website statistics, you'll want to start doing so immediately and do so for at least 2 weeks before starting your audit. Otherwise, you won't have much data to go off of when we specifically look at traffic and conversion. So you want to make sure that you have that set up so that you can go back and compare when your website has been optimized. In this section, we're going to gear up for starting your SEO audit. Before we actually begin the audit, we want to look at how to track your findings, what questions you need to ask yourself or your client before you begin, and how to get a quick overview of how the website you'll be auditing is actually performing. Once you've done this, we'll start going step by step through the actual audit itself. You're going to be pulling a lot of data and information, so it's best to track it as you go, so by the end of your audit, you'll have a fully completed website. Now, how detailed you track this depends on if you're doing this for your own personal or business website, or if you're doing this for a client. But next you'll find a blank SEO report that you can download and use for your audit, and I encourage you to use that for your website as you go through this course. If you're doing the audit for yourself, you can input the details and make some quick notes. On the other hand, if you're doing this for a client, you'll want to write out your recommendations and present this more professionally. Either way, remember that you'll resort back to this document down the road once you had time to see how effective the changes you made have been. When you conduct your next audit, you'll want to compare the two. If you plan on offering SEO auditing services to your clients, there are several questions that you'll want to ask them before you get started. On the other hand, if you will just be doing this for your own personal or business websites, there are still some questions that you'll want to think about before you get started. The first is you want to know if any previous search engine optimization work has been done, and if there has been, are they able to furnish any reports from that previous work? Because you want to know where the other company focused their efforts, and you want to see what work has actually been done. But you want to know, whether this is for yourself or for your client, what are the goals for doing an SEO audit? What do you hope to achieve? What do you hope to get out of it? You also want to look at what are the most important pages, as well as products and services on the website, because not only do you want to drive traffic to your website, you want to convert those visitors. And we also want to know where we want to focus our efforts, especially if you're dealing with a 100-page website. You want to start with the most important pages. What other advertising has the website used? What's their current marketing strategy? Do they use pay-per-click ads? Are they on social media? And are the website statistics currently being tracked? We want to be able to go in and look at what the current traffic looks like. We want to see how many visitors they're getting to their site. We want to see what are the most popular pages and so on. And lastly, if you're doing this for a client, you want to ask, is there anything I missed that you think I should know? Because you never know if there's something else that may have happened with the website that you will not get from asking those initial questions. And by opening it up to the customer, you're giving them an opportunity to share with you anything that may have happened or anything that they have noticed with their traffic or even competitors. All right, let's take a look at the website that we're actually going to be auditing in this course. This is from a client of mine who came to me and he already had his website set up. This is from a business that was established almost a year ago, and they want to rank more organically in search engines. We decided the best step would be to do an SEO audit to really get a good idea of how they are currently benefiting from search engines, how search engine friendly their website is, so that we can figure out what are the best steps to take to get them ranked. As you can see, they have a basic website where they list their services and prices, some samples of their work, testimonials from their clients. As you can see, they're really trying to show off their work. They list their contact information. They show where they can be found on Facebook, on Yelp. So they're really trying to get people to contact them. In speaking with them, they said their top keywords are lawn mowing Centerville, Virginia, which is where they're located, landscaping, lawn care, lawn service, and lawn maintenance, all with Centerville or Centerville, Virginia attached, as this is a local business. So now we're going to look more at keywords to make sure these are the best keywords to target, but we'll get into that in a bit. They've listed several of their online competitors. However, in doing a quick search for their top keyword, I don't see any of their top online competitors listed. When I scroll down, I do see them listed here in the local search results, but I don't see them listed here in the top search results. Now, if you'll notice, they do appear here in the sponsored area. They are using Google AdWords currently as part of their marketing plan, and they've also mentioned that they're trying to grow on Facebook. When I go to their Facebook page, they do have it nicely set up. I see that they've started to drive some people to their page. Their last post was almost 2 weeks ago, and it looks like most of their posts here tend to be a bit promotional. I see that there's a gap between March and January, and then again from January to November, so it looks like it's a little bit sporadic when they tend to post. They also said they really want to drive people directly to their services page and perhaps even their portfolio, but they really want to focus on their services of mowing, landscaping, and leaf removal, because those are their top services, their top selling services. Their ultimate goal is to be able to use this audit to figure out exactly what steps they need to take and what they can do both on their website and off their website to grow their organic traffic and grow their business. And that's exactly what we're going to look at step by step in this course. So I encourage you, as we go through and audit the Live, Lawn, and Prosper website, that you do the same for yours. Before I jump right into starting the SEO audit, I'd like to just get a general idea of what I'm working with. It just helps me wrap my mind around the actual website that I'm going to be looking at. It gives me a general idea of where they're starting from, and then it helps me as I move forward. So I want to show you just a few things that I look at as I go. The very first thing I start with is, of course, their website. Now, we looked at their website in general. However, I want to look at how well their website is set up to convert, because part of doing an SEO audit is, yes, we want to be able to drive traffic to their website. We want to make sure that the website is search engine friendly. But really, if we drive all this traffic to a website and the website is not set up to convert, it's really not going to do this business owner any good. And so that's why I always start with their website. Some of the things I'm going to look for are like social proof. I see they have #1 customer satisfaction. I don't know what lawnstarter.com is, but that's something I may look into to see how that looks. But as a potential customer, that looks good when you see #1 customer satisfaction. I see that I can call or text. The phone number is very huge. I have email right there. I see Facebook. I see Yelp, which are very well known. And so that looks very legitimate. So that's really good. Now, what I'm missing when I first look at the website is a call to action. What is the visitor supposed to do? I see before and after pictures. That's great. I see the contact information. But when I scroll down a little bit, they are trying to drive potential customers to get a quote. That seems to be what they want them to do, to either get a quote or up here to call them. The problem is that their call to action is below the fold, meaning I have to scroll down to see what it is that they want me to do as a visitor. So I would recommend that they move that call to action up, even if that just means moving that get a quote button up here towards their slideshow, or even incorporating that into their slideshow. So I would encourage this business to think about what it is that they want visitors to do when they land on their page and drive them to do that. Don't make them guess. Tell them what it is that you want them to do. So those are some of the things that I would look at initially on the website. I also want to look at things like their content. What is it that they're sharing here? Now, many small businesses make the mistake of on their homepage telling people about their business because they're excited about it. And that's exactly what's happening here. They're saying this is a local family or a family-owned business, which is a great thing. And it's also something that's really good to advertise. It makes people feel comfortable. However, this talks all about them. We want to talk about the customer on the website. How is it that this business can help the customer? Because as a visitor, I want to know how you can help me. Do you have the services that I need? Are you going to take care of my issue? And then if you do, and I want to know more about you, I'll go looking for an about page. So that would definitely be one of my recommendations to them as well, is to talk less about them and more about the customer on the home page. Now, I don't see anywhere, I'm going to look in the footer. No, I don't see anywhere here an about page. So an about page is where they can put all of that information. Also look to see if they have information like a privacy policy or terms and conditions. I don't see that either. Now, since they listed Facebook and Yelp, I'm going to go take a quick look at those. Now, we looked at their Facebook page a little bit earlier. We see that they have a very nice header. We can look at their photos. They have taken time to upload a lot of before and after photos, so that's great. We can see if there's any about information. There's the contact information, a link to their website, some basic services. Let's see, they do have some information here, it looks like, about them. Now we'll go look at Yelp, and I'm looking for the same thing. I want to make sure that wherever they are online, that their profiles are complete. So here they have one review, so it looks like that they said this is something they're just getting started. They've uploaded a lot of images, they have their website, their phone number. So it looks like they are complete here. Next, I like to do a general Google search for the business name to see what information pulls up on the business. You can see that the first website listed is their main domain. Next is their Facebook page, so that's great that that comes up. Their images come up, their Yelp profile comes up. It says they're on YouTube. They didn't mention that, so that's something that I'm going to have to check out. It says they have a Google Plus profile, which they didn't mention, so I'm going to have to check that out as well. And we want to see how complete these profiles are. Let's go ahead and take a look at their YouTube. So it looks like they have one video that they just uploaded a week ago. The name is not going to help them, as you can see here. So that's something where I'm going to have to look into a little bit more, but I'm not going to do that right at the moment. So going back, let's see what else they have here. You can see there's some other links that aren't necessarily related to them, Cafe Press, books. Let's see what comes up on the next page. So really all of their stuff is on the first page right there where it should be. So that looks good, and it looks like their website is presenting well. Now the next thing that I want to do is go back to Google, and I want to type in site semicolon and then the website domain, and I want to do a search, because this is going to tell me for this particular site how many of their actual pages are indexed and how do they come up, how high or low do they come up. So you'll see before the actual website even comes up, we have Yelp, Facebook coming up, but then we have this third website here coming up before the client's actual domain. So that's not too good. But it does show that their contact, homepage, and portfolio page is coming up, and a couple other things that are not related here. So their services page, which they said is their most important to them, is not even coming up on the first page. Now there's another tool called Ahrefs, and this is going to tell you how many backlinks that they have to their site. So I can type in their domain and try it for free. And a backlink is essentially any other website that includes the livelongandprosper.com link on their website, referring any of their visitors to this website. And it says there are only 2 domains that are currently referring to the website, so that's something that they're going to need to work on, and we'll talk more about that later. So although there's 11 links, there's only 2 domains that are referring traffic. So I'm going to go down here and click on referring domains. I want to see what it is. So there's 2 websites here. I don't recognize either one of those. So those websites are just general web directories. That's not necessarily what we're looking for. I've also checked on a couple different mobile devices to see how well the website appears, to see if it's mobile friendly. There's not a specific mobile version, however, it does resize appropriately. So now that just gives me a general idea of where we're standing. I'm going to look at their Google Analytics account. I see that they actually just started. That's why there's no traffic here for a while. They just started to track their website statistics and their traffic, and they are getting some hits, but not too much here. They have a very high bounce rate of 71%, which is not good. But I want to go down here and get an overview of their traffic. Looks like most of it is referral, but the referral traffic is getting a 92% bounce rate, so that's not doing them much good. They're getting a lot of direct traffic, however, this may be tracking the actual business owner going to the website as well, so I'll have to see if he's excluding himself from these results. We saw that he has been doing some paid search, which has a much lower bounce rate, so that looks really good. He's driving some targeted traffic, but it doesn't look like he has set up any goals, so I don't know that he's actually tracking how well that's working right here. He is getting a little bit of organic search. That's getting a low bounce rate of 23%. So we can take a look in here and see what keywords he's actually ranking for. Most of them are not provided by Google. and the other is Live Long and Prosper or Landscaping. So that's not really organic because they already know about them. So as you can see, there's a lot of things that we can look at just to get a general idea of what we're dealing with. And if this is your own website, these are some things that you really want to think about and see how you are already doing before you start your audit, before you start making improvements to your website, so that you can compare how you were before and how you will be once all of your changes have been completed down the road. So now let's get more into how to start our SEO audit. Now this is a pretty neat website if you want to be able to see your website how a search engine sees it. And all you need to do is insert your particular website into this box here, and we'll do a quick search. And as you can see, it's going to lay out your website, and it's going to be a little ugly looking, but that's okay. This is how search engines see it. We only need it to be visually appealing for visitors. As you can see, the images are kind of grayed out, and that's because search engines can't understand images unless we give them certain code, and we'll talk about that later on. But what's really neat is over here on the right hand side, this gives you some general quick information about the website. You can see how many words are on the page, how many internal links, and again, we'll get into this in more detail, so don't worry too much about this right now. You can also see here what title they've given the page, how many characters it has, what keywords they're currently trying to rank for. So although they gave me 5 keywords, I look here and I see that they have a ton of keywords. And the keywords that they gave me are not even the ones that are up top here, listed as their primary keywords. I also see that they're trying to rank for some keywords that are using their competition's name. So I don't know if that's necessarily the best idea. I can also see their description, how many characters it has, and then when you look below, what's neat is you can see how does the title and the description actually show up if this appears in search results, which is really neat to see, so you can edit your title and your description if you'd like to. If you want to get all of the information, you can click and download, and this will download an Excel file for you so you have all this information. But I think this is just a neat way to see how search engines see your website so you can get an idea of what they think is most important. If you're about to purchase a domain name, or you have purchased a domain name and you are struggling to actually rank that website, and despite all of your efforts you're not sure why, this is something you definitely want to pay attention to. This is a good example for you. I had someone recently come to me and present me with this website. From what they were saying, it sounded like they were moving in the right direction, but I started to take a closer look and I started to see why they were struggling to rank their website. And this is why I advise you to check on the domain you are going to buy before you do it. Because it's very likely that the domain you're going to purchase was used before you. And for the most part, it's probably going to be fine. It may or may not be related to what you're actually going to be doing with the website, but the issue comes into play when the domain was used for any malicious or spammy activity, and whatever the people before you did can come back to hurt you, especially with SEO. So there's a couple of things that you can do to research a domain. The first thing that you can do is go into Google and type in site, followed by your domain name. Now right now, this website does not show any results, and despite them submitting sitemaps, despite them putting links in many places, they are coming up with 0 results. Now, in some instances, you may actually see a lot of links here, and you want to go and click through some of those, see where this website, or this domain rather, is listed. Because if it is listed on a lot of spammy sites, it looks like anything suspicious was going on, this is a domain you're going to want to stay away from. So what I can do, since this is not pulling any results, is I can go to what is called the Wayback Machine. This is a website that allows you to view web pages as they looked years ago, Whether it's the same person who owned it or if it is a new person who owns the domain, this is where you can see what it used to look like. So I can go here and I can type in my domain name, and now I can see all the activity from 2014. And you'll see here highlighted below there are several different dates, and I can click on any one date, and this is going to pull up a screenshot of what this website looked like. So I can see here this is something different. Obviously this isn't very pretty looking. Looks like it's a WordPress website. It has different links than what I had there going back to early 2014, October 2013. And I can read through what they had. So it looks like they were also trying to rank this for criminal lawyer, but it says defenses for the costs are usually a suitable region to discover and increase in early stages in the lawsuit procedure. What? Obviously that is just gibberish. This is not a good quality site. So that's a little bit of an alarm for me right there. So I'm going to go back. I can go back even to 2013, select a date. So this looks like it may be the same site. I see some interesting articles over here. Now they're talking about hiring a San Antonio personal injury lawyer, although this is a Denver site. Here they talk about a Chicago, Miami. So that looks a little iffy as well. So when I go back even further, several years back, I can see that this was a website for a specific attorney. So it looks like this is a much more legitimate site years and years ago. But it looks like after this person let the website go, somebody else picked it up, and everything else that I'm seeing is rather spammy. So this is a huge indicator that this website has been involved with a lot of spammy activity, and what the person can do is go through Google and submit a reconsideration request, but that can be a little bit involved. And so depending on where you are in the SEO process, how long you've had the domain, you'll want to think about whether or not you want to pursue a reconsideration request, or if you would prefer just to start over on a new domain and be able to rank a lot quicker that way. The best bet is, though, check the domain before you buy it so that you make sure something like this doesn't happen. In this section, we're going to cover the most important part of an SEO audit. That is on-page optimization. We'll not only talk about what on-page optimization is and all the factors that fall under it, but we'll also look at how to find out how your website scores in all of these areas. So get ready to take a lot of notes because you're about to start your own SEO audit now. Now we're ready to start looking at the on-page SEO factors. All of these factors affect how your website or your particular web page will be listed in the organic search engine results. Remember when I mentioned the all-in-one SEO audit tools? Many of these only cover on-site SEO factors because they can access this information directly on your website. Now we're going to be looking at some of these tools, but I'm also going to take you step by step through each factor because even if you can pull this information up using these tools, you need to know what you're looking for so that you can implement the right changes. All of these on-site factors will check to see how well optimized your website already is for search engines. So let's start breaking some of these factors down right now. Before we start, we need to know what keywords the site is being optimized for and what keywords or key phrases you want to rank for. This will be needed when we look at some ranking factors throughout this course. If you've done any SEO work at all before, you've probably already gathered a list of keywords you'd like to rank for so you can use those in this audit. If not, there are two things you want to do. First, just brainstorm a list of the keywords you believe a user would search for to find your website, and then we can go ahead and take a look at what the top keywords are that currently refer traffic to your site. One thing that you can do is go into the Google Keyword Planner. You'll need a free Google AdWords account to do this. You can go ahead and paste in some of your keywords. Make sure that you select only your area and your language that you'll be looking at. And you can look to see how many results there are. Now again, this is for some paid ads, but this can give you a general idea. And there really isn't much happening here. So these may not be the best keywords. But let's go back. You can also search for a new keyword. So I could type in, let's say, lawn mowing in Centerville, and I can see what pops up. Now here, this is really nice because this can give me an idea of some other ways to phrase lawn mowing, or I see here mowing services, I see lawn cutting. Those are some things, lawn business, I could do lawn mowing companies. So this is already starting to generate some other ideas that I could search for. Another thing that you can do is go to a tool called semrush.com, and this will give you a number of free searches, so you don't have to pay for this right up front. And you can type in your website domain. I'm going to go back to our website for a second and get the domain. I'll pop that in here. And this should tell us both the organic search, paid search, and what our competition is. Now, when I take a look here, it's saying it's not telling me anything about organic search. So let's do this. I want to try to look at one of their competitors so we can get a better idea. Because oftentimes if you want a list of keywords, you can go look at your competitors. Now you cannot just take other people's keywords, but it might give you some ideas of ways that you can phrase things. Now here you'll see this website is getting a lot of organic search traffic, and this is one that does come up as one of their competitors and somebody I've been looking at. So we can look at this in more detail. Here all of their top keywords seem to be for people who already know about them, so I can click here to get a full report to get a better idea of some other keywords. Now here there's things like brown patch, so there's different problems that people are typing in that they have with their lawn. So that may be something that the business owner hasn't already thought of. Lawn care services, lawn weed control service, slugs in lawn. I don't even know what that means. I'm not a lawn expert, but that's something we can present to the client. Seeding in spring. So these are things that this particular website is pulling up from. This is going to give us some great ideas for keywords. So once you have your keywords, you can always go back to the Google Keyword Planner. You can type them in there, and you can look for the search volume as well to see if those might be a better fit for you. But go ahead, take a moment now and do a search for your own keywords.